Let's get going with the game here. For those who don't know how the panel show works, it's a guy we have.
I know a guy named Ian.
Do you, Ron? Nice guy?
Yeah, he's all right.
So I was just about to explain the show here, Ron. The panel show.
Please do.
Oh, well, all right. Ron's a regular on the show. He knows how it works. But if you don't, panel show is a game where we have different categories. Categories are all based on what's going on, news, current events, things like that, some trivia, fun things like that. It's a good time. And the winner wins. Get ready for it. $1 million! Yeah! There it is. A check for $1 million. So there it goes. That's been our prop since the beginning. One of these days we'll actually invest in a, fancier, tacky, novelty-sized check. There's we found a unique product out there. It's from a company called the Better Marriage Company, and it's designed for husbands and wives to have a better time in the bedroom. What is it? What does it do?
A bedroom product.
Yes, called the Better Marriage Company.
It plays romantic music.
Oh no.
It plays fart noises.
Let's give him a point. It doesn't play fart noises, but you're close enough, we'll give it to you. The Better Marriage Company offers a product called the Better Marriage Anti-Flatulence Blanket. It's $29.99.
So it's kind of the opposite of my answer.
Kind of the opposite.
Give me a point.
It's designed to improve your marital bliss by absorbing the odors emitted by you while you sleep. Now, you don't have to be married to own this product.
Could I have it just for me?
Yes, you can. According to the official website, the Better Marriage Anti-Flatulence Blanket contains the same type of fabric used by the military to protect against chemical weapons. So in case you were wondering, this can't deal with my farts. It probably can, unless your farts are worse than anthrax. And how does it work? Scientifically, that's how. They describe it this way. The molecules that cause the odor are absorbed and neutralized in millions of microscopic pores in the activated carbon so as to have an almost unlimited capacity for eliminating odor. Wow.
Just like you said, that's a really romantic product.
It really is. And
why should I buy this? It'll enhance your time, your fun time in the bedroom.
Sure will. I think farts would affect sticky
Won't
farts.
you still hear the farts?
Actually, you're right. It doesn't eliminate sound. Way to go, blanket. Sounds fun.
And then you're just lying under this blanket that's trapping year after year of noxious farts.
Yeah, one day you just cut it open and they all get released.
Oh no, Gulf War syndrome.
It's like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark when they open the just ghosts everywhere.
And it melts your faces off. They emphasize on the website though that it's not just for Christmas. They say it's also a great wedding gift or anniversary gift too.
What do you mean I'm fired?
I imagine it's good for Valentine's Day as well. Basically, it's the perfect gift for any occasion you want to tell a person, your farts disgust me with their smell.
To the point where they might be weaponized.
So how we doing with points there, Chris? Last question's for you, Ron. Ron, there is a British guy who was just interviewed by the Daily Mail. It turns out for the last 30 years, every single meal, he's been using going to what source to get his meat?
I think I know this, but was it you I was talking with about it
It's possible.
a few days ago?
Maybe.
The guy, he's been eating roadkill.
That's correct! Ding, ding, ding!
It had to be you.
Or Dave, yes, there's a guy. His name is Jonathan McGowan. He's been eating roadkill as his main source of food for 30 years. Way to go, buddy. Resourceful guy. It was a really interesting article. He talked all about how he does it and how he's been doing it.
But when he gets hungry, he just has to go driving.
Well, that's the thing. He said when he started off, he started because he thought the prices of meat in the grocery store were too high. So, but he noticed on the way home all these dead animals near his house. So he's like, "Oh, this is just free now, isn't it?" And so the first thing he had was badger. And now he's like, in the article, he says, "Hey, you'd be surprised how many dead animals you can find if you just look for them." And they showed his kitchen, and he has a whole pantry just with like pigeons and badgers and porcupines and whatever's around. But
So he doesn't take them just as he needs them.
Oh no,
I will
saves it up.
Store it away.
that would be irresponsible, Ron.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go out every day. Now it was a pretty shocking article, but the most shocking part is in this passage right here. The 44-year-old bachelor. Bachelor? What? Really? This guy?
Ladies, get to England right
And
now.
the thing is, you would think he was like a crazy mountain man, but in the photo, he was wearing a suit. He was a good-looking guy. Clearly has like a real job. And just in his spare time, this is his hobby. Later in the article, he says, "Hey, I know it sounds disgusting, but I've turned some of my friends onto it." I'm like, friends?
Friends?
Really?
He means the Badgers.
Here's some of his recipes if you want to make one at home. This one is owl curry. Serves 4. First, you brown the onions and celery in the frying pan for about 10 minutes in high heat.
Obviously.
That makes sense. That's a totally makes sense. Then add some owl. Wait, what? Add some owl until cooked through. After 5 minutes, turn down the heat and add vegetables, sultans, coconut, curry paste, and some cumin and turmeric.
Actually, I gotta stop you there, Ned. How is an owl roadkill?
Jonathan, you're right. He seems to be going way out of his way at this point.
It's
This
those-
has to be some really depressed owl.
Yeah, he was putting the owl out of its misery. Really, he was. The owl had a death wish if he became roadkill.
Who could put up with this much depression? Who?
It also leads to believe because a lot of his recipes involve birds. Like he has another one here for roadkill pigeon au vin. That means wine sauce. But yeah, pigeons, owls. It seems like those aren't roadkill. He probably just found them dead on the ground. And there's nothing like of all the animals to find dead on the ground, birds are probably the shadiest.
But how often do you come across an owl?
Especially in England, they have no forests.
And then to somehow take owl and go, you know what? Curry. This is meant for curry.
And then he has a recipe for badger stew here as well. And for pigeon au vin, it's really great.
Does that recipe include the step abandon all self-dignity and hope?
Oh yeah, there it is. Second
Oh,
one
he's
right
got
there.
a suit.
Yeah,
Wouldn't it be
he's
great to go to one of his family reunions? His stuff's always left on the table for the potluck.
in the part where he describes that he turned his friends onto it, he implied that like he turned them onto it by bringing it to them, like at a party or something. Like so maybe he kept it secret for a while and said, "Hey, so what do you think of my curry? Like it's pretty good." And they said,
then
"Owl,"
he's-
and apparently they still remained friends with him.
It's because he serves it with that bowl of grass clippings from Birdie Bots.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I think he tells them after. Guess what you're just saying?
That's how he tests. That's how he tests the strength of his bonds of
My
friendship.
neighbor's cat.
Yeah, that accidentally got run over.
Yeah, I was imagining it near his house. He must just be like just driving every which way.
I think he smears garlic on his tires.
Yeah, it skips a step. It makes it easier for later. There you go. So there you go, guys. If you want to look him up in the Daily Mail. He has a lot of recipes out there.
Hi, I'm David Tichauer, and welcome to another edition of the Monthly Movie Minute, where we review some of the hottest films of the past month. First up, J. Edgar. This movie features heartthrob Leonardo DiCaprio in the role he was born to play, some balding old guy. Now, this movie touches on many of the fascinating aspects of J. Edgar Hoover's life, but unfortunately skips over what has got to be the most interesting thing about him, that he invented the vacuum cleaner. Now, I mean, I've heard enough about this Sherman Antitrust Act. Now I want to hear some of this Hoover's Anti-Dust Act. But it's pretty clear who's behind this oversight, really. Obviously, this movie is in the pocket of Dyson and his pivoting ball. So, I guess while Hoover was at home cleaning up communism, Dyson and his Bolsheviks were overseas, starting a revolution of their own. But, of course, what this movie really is about when it comes down to it is one crossdresser trying to make it in this crazy world. So I think my review can best be summed up by the following immortal words by Julie Newmar. To Wong Fu, and to J. Edgar, thanks for everything, David Tichauer. Next up, Puss in Boots 3D. Yes, everyone's favorite Mexican cat is back in this perfect remake of the classic fairy tale. And, you know, I've been against 3D movies in the past, but I love that this was in 3D. I really think it adds a new dimension to the movie, you know? I mean, did you guys know that Puss is actually in the boots? I couldn't tell. I thought he was behind them. You can't tell in the 2D. You just can't. Now, message to you parents out there. This movie is great for kids, so bring the whole family. Just make sure you don't confuse it with the similarly titled Boots in Puss, which starring Robert Boots, who plays an amorous TV repairman. Now, this movie I can tell you is certainly not for children. I saw it by accident. There were no cats in it, and the boots that are in it are grossly misused. Now I think this is really irresponsible on the part of the Puss in Boots people, because if your movie is that close to a porn title, it should not be marketed to children. Case in point, Snow White and the Seaman Dwarves. Now I should say, longtime panel show watchers will be interested to know that Snow White and the Seaman Dwarves was actually the final movie of Jamie Oliver's porn dwarf double before he was eaten an untimely death by some badgers in the woods. You had to be for that one. And finally, we turn to Breaking Dawn, the Twilight movie. Move over, Will and Kate, because there's a new royal couple in town, and it's Edward and Bella in the brand new movie of the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 1. Now, Breaking Dawn Part 1 is actually Part 3 of what will eventually be a 4-part trilogy, which is pretty strange considering I thought vampires were supposed to be good at counting. No, that's the wrong one. We're supposed to be good at counting. That's a lot funnier. But regardless, supposed to be good at counting. But regardless, this movie was a lavish affair that spared no expense. And the wedding was pretty good too, complete with blushing bride, extremely pale groom, and a themed menu that include chicken or steak through the heart. But the real story of this movie is, of course, Bella and her burgeoning baby bump. Yes, and this was no immaculate conception, or should I say imdraculate conception, because as evidenced by the steamy sex scene in this movie, which would be great for all the young kids watching. Hey, they gotta learn sometime. Daddy, why is Edward hurting Bella? It's called sex, honey. Now leave Daddy alone. He's trying to spot a nipple. Now, it was really very graphic. I mean, for a second there, I thought that Edward was having sex with Dawn, because she was breaking, let me tell you. But don't worry, guys, if your kids saw this, because it does contain a very valuable lesson, which... very valuable. Let me just sort this out. Very valuable lesson. Young ladies out there, if you want to have sex with a vampire, make sure you use protection. No? Make sure you use protection from the vampires. Scarlet, everyone. Well, or a count. They don't like those either. Well, that's all the time we have. Thanks for watching Monthly Movie Minute. And until next time, keep watching those stars.
Thanks, Dave. Wow, that was great. So that wraps up the game, and our champion is Mr. Ron Sparks. Here's your $1 million check. There you are. Wow. There it is. So that about wraps it up. There will be a show in here in a little while, so we do need to be clearing out. For those of you who are staying at Comedy Bar, the Beer Prop show is at 10:30 in the main stage, so be sure to check that out. And the next panel show will be here in this side stage January 13th.
Hooray.
So be there for it. So thanks for coming, guys. Later.
And as we leave, Jewel.